Hi, I'm Alice and you're watching Nelly Personal Education Vlog. In a few words, let me tell you about what Nelly is. It is dedicated to my grandmother Nelly, and I used her name as an acronym for Not Enough, Love in Life, Why? And I was doing just personal education videos and reviews, but today I actually realized the true purpose of Nelly and why personal education is so important. And that is mainly to save families. So let me tell you something that I have learned that is extremely important. Family is so important that people do all kinds of things and they sacrifice everything for their families. And that is why I want to stress the issue of a broken home, of mom and dad not being together, of single parents raising their children or parenting their children. Also, parents that are not making wise decisions, that are raising children and their children are watching them. In fact, if parents are affecting their children. Now, I will mention in this episode, the most important thing is if you are a person and you love your family so much that you're willing to do whatever it takes, this episode is for you. I come from a broken home. I love my mom and dad with all my heart, and I love their spouses as well. But I can tell you that this affected my life a whole lot. And recently I came across, so that's why I'm probably not going to cut this episode. So I'm going to try to make it really short. And also I'm going to try not to be emotional. So first off, I am going to tell stories in the further episodes because I don't want to talk about real people. And I do want to give everything, like kudos or whatever the word is, to the people that are so open, that write books, that shoot reality TV shows. And this kind of person I'm going to talk about to you, these kind of people I'm going to talk about today in this episode. So when I have a lot of friends that have happy families, happily married, they have children, young children right now, because I'm in my 30s and most of my friends are in their 20s, like mid 20s or 30s, and they're happily married, or they're expecting a child, or they're raising children. And when I see that, my heart just grows bigger, and I'm just praying for them every single day because they set an amazing example for people out there. Now, there's a lot of people that are compromising that environment for their children and for themselves as well, not being able to get along. And if two people got together in the first place, that happened for a reason, right? And it's important to learn about relationships, and it's so important to learn to it's fine when you don't have children, but if you do have children, it's really, really important to, if you are not sure about each other, if you're not sure if you're going to get married or not, please be wise and don't put an innocent spirit through such a turmoil, okay, of not having a healthy household, of not having parents that are loving each other, that are just setting this amazing example. Kids are affected when parents are fighting. Kids are affected when parents are doing certain things. And to express it the best way possible, I came across this book. So I'm doing another project that I dedicated to my amazing mother, who is like literally a man and a woman in one body. I mean, she's a provider, she's a protector, she is an overall amazing woman who is trying to cook and clean and parent and work, run a business. She's just an incredible, and she's fighting a deadly disease right now, and I hope that this just goes away, just dissolves, and she stays alive for her children and for her husband and for people that she's serving. I will never give up, staying positive and just praying for her and hoping for the best. But so Music Heals Me is dedicated to my mom. And when I was diving into researching how music can be so beneficial, it saved me through a variety of different experiences of losing both of my grandparents that I lived with in the household. I saw them every single day. I talked to them every single day, and one day they were gone. When my grandfather passed away, me and my Grammy, we could not even be in the house. We had to live with my mom for a little bit, and it was hard because, it's just a tiny little apartment. My apartment is, my condo is so much bigger than the place where we used to live, so many people. So I definitely appreciate every single blessing in my life, but I can tell you that losing somebody is really hard. And my grandmother lived 8 years after my grandfather passed away, but those years she lived really for me and for my mom and for my little sister, because, and this is a little personal, but she would not remarry because my grandfather was the love of her life, and she didn't even care for anybody out there. She lived for us, and her and my grandfather are my true heroes. They're gone. I was blessed with American grandparents who are just like my grandparents, and I am super thrilled to hopefully see them during Thanksgiving, to go and visit. And they have an amazing family where they work through it, and they have I would show you the picture. I will actually edit it into this episode. They have a wonderful, loving family. They have family reunions. They all, do their best to get along. And yes, the gospel is a huge part of it. So if you have the gospel in your life, you have a rock solid foundation. And I don't know families that are outside of the gospel that there's like 100 people in one picture and everybody's smiling. That was like, when I saw that, I'm like, whatever the church that is, that's the church I'm joining, because I have never seen that in my real life. And I did notice that a lot of people that have faith, they have big families, but I have never seen happy family like that together, loving each other, just, and it's generation after generation, and they have great grandchildren that are there for, and it's like the most incredible thing in life is big family, and then everything else is sort of just for the family. It's like your work for the family, you go on vacations for the family, for each other, for being together and loving each other, and having siblings that you can spend time with, and having nieces and nephews and uncles and aunts, and anyways, I came across this book by Nick Carter for my Music Heals Me project. It's called Face in the Music. But in this episode, what I want to talk about is the story of this guy. And I highly encourage you, after you watch this episode, go and watch at least a little bit of the reality show. It only lasted 8 episodes. That's what he wrote in the book. He tried really hard. And he described that the reason why he decided to have a reality show, The House of Carters, Carter is his last name, is because his parents got a divorce. They just read the book if you're curious about his story, but they couldn't stay together. They got a divorce, but the children were so affected. And this guy had all the money. He was really successful at that time. Early on in life, he was really successful. So the money was not an issue, and having a fancy house or drive any car you want was not an issue. Although he does not come from that background. He comes from a family that didn't have any, that they were struggling as a family. And he just became successful. Things happen sometimes in life. He became really successful. And so he was trying to help his family. And in the show, in the beginning, he talks about how he has 3 sisters and 1 brother. And he got all his siblings in one house with the goal to help them, to in the beginning, in the scene, they have dinner and it's a disaster and it's a reality show. And it's true because he talks about it in the book. It's not just some simulated drama. It's not a simulated drama. Everything is real. They're crying for real. They're sharing stories for real. And how I know, I read the book, and if you read the book, you'll know as well. One of the girls that are in the show is dead because of the drug overdose, because of what she had to live through. And yes, they appear like spoiled brats, immature, that can't even like cook or clean after themselves, that talk about parties and drinking and smoking and all that stuff. But in reality, all these things they're doing is because of the dysfunctional family, because they did not know any better. Their brother was like, he was struggling himself at that time. He was a struggling guy trying to help struggling siblings because he felt responsible, since he was an older sibling and everybody else was younger, and he felt responsible to help his siblings. Now, I don't want to make this episode very long, and again, I'm not going to cut it, but the reason I'm making this is because I believe that Nelly, this whole series, this vlog, is to raise awareness and hopefully get people talking about, I've been on an ad myself. You know, you would think that living together without a ring on your finger is not a big deal. You're loving the person you're loving, but it says in the scriptures, you know, to not do certain things unless you're married. And you think, well, but I love the person and it's not a bad thing. But when you're not married, I want people to share this. And I know some people later on get married, but are you overall really happy and everything's just turns out great? I mean, I really researched this. I don't just talk to talk. I talk from experience. I know people that live together and got married, and I know how much struggle they are going through in their relationship because of what was done. And I know also couples that waited until they got married and they're happy and they're together, and their life is so way different. Like, you can see these kids in the show, in this reality show, The House of Carters, they're all they have a potential because the brother can help them financially, but they're struggling with things. For whatever reason, they're drinking, for whatever reason they're smoking, for whatever reason they just like party is something. It's not like, you have to have a goal in life. You have to live up to your full potential. You have to know your purpose. Like, for me, music heals me, and music and songwriting and making these vlogs, this is why I think I was put through all my trials, and this is why I think I was put on earth, because three things that are the most important to me in this life. Number one is my faith. I failed. I did things wrong, and I'm telling myself, but you know, it's love and it's not wrong. It's just love. But trust me, even when you love somebody with all your heart and you're doing like everything that you can possibly do, and I don't want to get emotional, I'm sorry, but if you're not married, it's not gonna work, you know. And if you're not married to stay together, it's not gonna work. So once you're married, it's a responsibility that you take on to stay married for the rest of your life, you know. And yes, I'm speaking from experience, sometimes there's a dysfunctional relationship. And I mean, if the person is breaking your stuff, and if person is, you know, making you feel like you gotta call the police, okay, that's when it's, you know, you have to withdraw. You have to just pray for those people to be happy. When you witness one of the family members that is partying, and the responsible guy who's supposed to say, look, I'm the responsible guy, and you see two little kids are in the party trying to fall asleep on the couch while adults around are drinking and smoking and doing all kinds of crazy things, and there's two little kids. When you see that, you like, I don't want to be a part of it. I mean, I'm on the kids' side. I'm like, I'm going to bed. This is not my kind of environment. This is not what I want to do in life. This is not what I can't tolerate. I don't even, like, I can't tolerate these kind of things because I know how destructive they are. And yes, it's true, again, speaking from experience, substance abuse, like, even if it's naive, of a glass of wine, I've witnessed a person dying from pancreatic cancer because stressful work, stressful things, just a little bit every single evening, just a little bit, not even getting super drunk, whatever, just a little bit. It is dangerous. And this person could have witnessed so many amazing things. And I mean, I could be visiting this person and being together and spending great time together, big heart, amazing human being, gone because of stress, not being able to handle stress the healthy way. Again, been there, like, you would try so hard for like 6 months, one little thing happens, you're like off track for just a little bit, then you're back on track, then something else happens. You have to figure out, and I finally figured it out for myself. And I will talk about it in other episodes. But for me, what helps me through stress, I'm probably going to add it to this episode. And Nick talks about it in this book. So you can find a healthy solution for yourself. So for me, it's music. Music, if I go through something, I can find a song and I can put it on and I can just listen and cry and go learn this song, go write a song, write a poem, write a story. Journaling helps a lot. Exercising, being outside, surrounding yourself with people that are happy, that you look up to, that you can go and see that they are doing things, going on trips, supporting each other, loving each other, doing it the right way, being happily married, raising a family, raising, their grandchildren, great-grandchildren. Surround yourself with, and Nick talks about it in this book, when he finally found this place where he could get away when he was off tour and he had a lot of downtime that he used to spend, with his friends, doing substance abuse. That was just, I mean, I don't blame the guy. I mean, he was not even able to attend his sister's funeral because his parents blamed him that it was partially his fault or whatever. Like, this is horrible. And if you watch the show, and you can see how he's trying to help his siblings, but one of the sisters goes, well, you drink too, so who are you preaching to? If you drink too, then why would you? And so now I have my own story to tell, but I'm not going to share it because it's not just about me, it's also other people involved. And I love and respect those people, so I'm not going to share. I'm just going to say that I was trying to have a family, and I did it the wrong way. I just jumped all in, and I was waiting and hoping that eventually I'm going to have an amazing family. If only I can just do everything I can do. And guess what? Not living the gospel, it's not going to work. Even if you think it's innocent, even if you think it's just, well, what's wrong with love? What's wrong with love before marriage? A lot of people do it and it works out. Well, I really want to know how many times it works out and how it works out. I mean, it worked out for some people I know, but I can tell you their relationship was so dysfunctional for the longest time. Like, there was yelling and sarcasm and not supporting and cheating. And cheating is a big deal because, like, I've witnessed cheating, and that broke my heart in my own family. And the only example I have is my grandparents, but everything else, I'm sorry. I want you to know that if you really want to have a happy and healthy life, you have to take control. You have to make your life the best. You have to do it yourself. And yes, I'm not the perfect example. As you can tell, I'm not happily married, and I don't have kids. But I know what not to do now. I know that no matter how much you love someone, it's not enough. It has to be two people. It has to be both people wanting the same thing, wanting to have a family, wanting to have a healthy, happy environment without fights, without arguments, learning to agree to disagree, learning to support each other, learn to love each other, learn to back each other up, be each other's sidekick or right hand man and woman, just be there during the hard times, just hug it out, not fight, not yell, not call each other names, not cuss at each other. Just be like, okay, you're going through something. Let me try to understand you. Let me put myself in your shoes. Let me figure out why you're hurting. What's the reason? Why are you doing certain things you're doing? All of these things are super important. And that being said, I am practicing right now as I'm sitting here, and today and tomorrow and in the week and in the month, I'm going to go talk to the bishop and I'm going to say, look, I made some mistakes. I didn't live the gospel fully, but I can always get back on track. And as soon as I got back on track, miracles started happening. People that said, I never want to see you again, all of a sudden messaged me, and I thought things were going good. But then again, I didn't stay strong. And I was like, well, but maybe there's hope. And no, you have to do things the right way. Otherwise, it's not going to work. And I'm a living proof. Like, don't do things the way I did things. Don't just say, but it's not a bad thing, but I'm faithful, but I'm honest, but I'm doing 100%. I'm putting it all in. I am trying really hard. It's not going to work without doing things right. And I know, I was scared to talk about it in my videos, but I have faith. And every single time I broke the commandments, even if it's a little thing to the point where, I just did one little thing just one time, like once in 6 months, and that I knew it was the wrong thing. Like when you get stressed, okay, and you think that something's gonna give you a relief, like in 5 minutes. Because when I'm at work, I can't be like this. Like I can't be crying and bawling at work. I have to work. So what if something happened that, like, you're at work and then you get a text message and you're just standing there, and fortunately that happens sometimes when you're about to go on a break and you're like, okay, I have 15 minutes to calm down. But what if not? What if you're just going to be a mess at work and people are like, are you okay? Everything's good. So yeah, people go outside and they're like, or I don't want to get into it, but people find immediate something to numb their feelings, to numb their emotions, to be like, I am invincible, I'm cool, I'm not stressed out, I'm chill. But guess what? This is really physically distractive, because then you might get stuck with an addiction. You might get stuck with, and fortunately, it's again, this guy, he overcame it. He quit. He was smoking, he was drinking, he did some drugs that were not too bad, but they're still bad, okay? Fortunately, he didn't do anything super crazy like Keith Richards did some things, or Nicky Six, or any other of those musicians that, again, I researched. But he didn't do any stuff like that. But he still did things that permanently affected his brain. He was in really, really bad shape because of drinking, and his voice was compromised because of smoking. And my heart goes out to this guy. He is an incredible human being, and he was trying, and with this book, he's trying to do what he was trying to do with the show. The show only lasted 8 episodes, and one of the people on the show, one of his siblings, is gone now. She's dead, and she was married, and she had a little child, and that is just devastating. And I admire him for sharing his story. I don't think I'm brave enough to share my personal story, because I've been through, the only thing that I can share, I treasure life because somebody tried to kill me when I was 10. And so that's one thing I can share. I don't have hate for that person, because I know that person was hurting. I also know that he succeeded killing one person at least, if not more, because I came home from school one day to a dead body on the ground that fell off the 18th story building. It's almost 20th, because I think she fell off, or he fell off the roof. And that could be me at 10 years old. And this guy could have succeeded if by miracle I wouldn't still be alive. but I don't hate the guy because something must have been so wrong with him in his 40s. I think he was in his 40s, that he wanted to take somebody else's life, and that he took somebody's life. So it's like people are mentally, just remember that the adversary, he has an effect on us. He has an effect on everybody. He's trying, and his ways are like, oh, one little drink, it's gonna be fun. Or, oh, let's love each other without getting married, it's gonna be okay. Or, oh, let's, drink a lot of coffee, it's just a drink, it's not gonna do anything. Well, I've seen coffee affects a person that I love the most. One of my dearest people in life affected by caffeine. A lot of coffee. Okay, like the best coffee. But I do not like coffee, and I know that a little bit is just, yeah, it tastes really good and blah blah blah. But yes, be mindful. Like a lot of sugar. I'm literally a sugar addict. I love cookies, I love chocolate, but I'm trying to stay away from it because I know like I would gain weight, I would not love myself in the mirror, and it makes me really tired, and then I can't focus. And I know that it's sugar affecting me, so I know it's a big deal, and it's probably why I'm so distracted, because I eat a lot of sugar. Helps me with stress, I guess, and a lot of people stress manage however they can. Like snacks help me to get over stress, but snacks, you gotta have healthy snacks. It's another thing. You gotta educate yourself. You gotta know what snacks you can have, how much sugar you can have, how much sugar is okay. And sugar comes from fruits and vegetables. So you can be eating fruits and vegetables and not being healthy because you're overeating calories, or you're overeating something you're not supposed to be eating. All of that is important. And I highly recommend you do your research. And this video has been way too long, and I don't want to cut it like I mentioned. But please be mindful. Please love yourself. Please love and respect yourself. And if something's happening in your life that is potentially dangerous, please, just study the situation. Pay attention to people that are your friends and people that are your friends' friends. And a friend is never going to give you a substance abuse item. A real, true friend is never going to, compromise, your health, or they might do it because they don't know, okay, any better. But they're not gonna intentionally hurt you, okay? They're not. If they're hurting you for whatever reason, if your friend might have hurt you. I have several best friends that hurt my feelings because they were just, hey, this is what you're doing wrong, you have to fix it. That's different. That's trying to help you. But people that are giving you substance abuse items, they're saying, hey, it's just gonna be fun, we're gonna overcome stress, it's not a big deal. Those are not friends. People that are, hey, let's go party, let's go eat some crazy stuff that can potentially, ruin your reputation at work, ruin your reputation, period. Those are not your friends. People that are motivating you to waste your time on doing things versus like living up to your full potential, figuring out, like people that encourage you to figure out what you're meant to be doing in life, serving people, figuring out what are my strengths, how can I use these strengths to make the world a better place. If people are not encouraging you, if people are like, yeah, let's just do nothing, and nothing is awesome, it's like, what? I don't want to work, because work cannot feel like work. I have to do some hard work sometimes, some heavy lifting, but I love my job. I love dragging cases and lifting heavy gear because I get to watch amazing events happen that are entertaining. Some of them might not be so amazing, but it's just like sometimes you work a comedy show and comedy is not so great, but it's a part of the job. You gotta kind of I wish you could be selective and work only family friendly shows, okay? Let's just put it that way. But sometimes it's not a luxury and you gotta do it all. But still, I work for musicians, for successful musicians. I work for charity events that are making a difference, that are raising money for good causes, people that are coming together, having healthy parties, amazing parties without drugs, alcohol, like any kind of substance abuse, helping people with disabilities, helping people that are born into a body that is not fully functional, helping people with a variety of different conditions like cancer or ALS. My dearest friend is struggling with ALS, and I want this video to raise awareness that, hey, some people are going through crazy things, like physically, and they know that the most important thing is, like, I hope he doesn't mind, but this person made the best decision when my dear friend Mike, he married the love of his life. They've been together for a long time, and they got married, and my heart just grew bigger because we worked together, and they just dated, and I just said, amazing woman in your life, why don't you put a ring on her finger? And I got to be at the wedding, and it was the most beautiful thing. And I want to do whatever I can to raise awareness, and that, whatever Ice Bucket Challenge, he actually came up with the things that can literally help people with the condition, with ALS. And we want to empower and encourage people, and we're gonna do Q&As, and he has an amazing studio with a green screen, so I don't have to do it on my couch at home, and that we can do it more professional production. But I'm super thrilled that we can make a difference. And I mean, one person can't do anything, but people coming together can really make the difference. And we have Music Kills Me on Tuesday upcoming, and even if one person out of 10 people or 20 people is gonna come and say, today I made a decision to love myself, I made a decision to change my life, I made a decision to quit substance abuse, I made a decision to love my family and not fight with them and accept them for who they are, and I made a decision to be the best version of myself. That's all that matters. And in fact, I'm not worthy of wearing Choose the Right ring right now, but so I put it on my key, on my brace, on my necklace. But this was given to me by these amazing girls that are going through all kinds of things. And this is getting way too long. Anyways, this is one penny. And the Savior, he goes after even one person. It's written in the scriptures. I challenge you to find the verse. He goes after one person, and even if 99 turn away, if one person can be saved, he cares. He cares about every single spirit. He cares if you're born onto this earth. It means that he loves you and he cares. Because the third of heaven, they don't even have the body. And if you have the body, that means that you're here with some kind of a trial, physical, spiritual, mental, or emotional. There is a trial. Everybody has a trial, but you can overcome it, and you can become the best version of yourself. Make your mess into a message. Serve other people. Whatever it is that you're meant to be doing, please do it. Because, I'm making this video because, the course that I'm watching, they said if you are not sharing, you will be doing somebody a disservice, so you have to share. So I feel like I would be doing somebody a disservice. Maybe it's you who's watching right now if I won't share this information. Again, 3 most important things in my life. Number 1 is my faith. Number 2 is people I love and family. And number 3 is living a meaningful life. So you're here for a reason. Whatever reason that is, you're here, you're not living for nothing. And it's your job and it's your responsibility to figure it out. What is it you're here to do? And I know that I'm here to create these videos, to write my songs, and to do whatever I can for Music Heals Me. And I know that these projects mean the world to me. And I know that I have my faith, and I know that I wasn't strong since I found out about what is out there. I wasn't strong. I fell short multiple times. But like my dear person told me today, that as long as you can get back up and keep going, it's all that matters for him. He will, obviously it's important not to fall down, but even if you fell down and if you're at the bottom, if you fall down to your knees, you're in a perfect position to pray. If you are as low as you can go, the only one way is up. And life has been a roller coaster for me, just recently I lost a lot of people that I loved, a lot of people that I was hoping to be a part of my life, and didn't even have an opportunity to say goodbye. But I just want you to know that while you're alive, you have a lot to live for. And I'm going to wrap this up, and please read this book and watch the show. Even if you don't care about this guy, there's a lot that you can learn from his book, and that a lot you can learn from the show. A lot of what not to do, and a lot of how the effort counts, because after he tried this, he wrote this book. And hopefully it is changing lives. It is definitely changing my life, and I absolutely am grateful that randomly, not randomly, I believe things happen for a reason, but this came into my life, and I'm really grateful for it. And I quote it a lot, and there's I have 5 other books that I'm reading that are also amazing. So that being said, I'm going to wrap this up. I love you so much. I apologize for my emotions, but that just tells you that I really mean what I say. And I was just told today that I was hoping to get over like emotions, but whenever we follow the Savior, we become tender spirits, and we will be vulnerable for the rest of our lives. But it's better to cry than to do substance abuse or something wrong with yourself, because guess what? I learned that from SciShow. Speaking of, shout out to SciShow. That SciShow kids especially love that show. I'm like a kid in my heart. So our tears, they contain water, salt, and natural painkiller. That's what I learned from science. Okay, so after you cry, you will feel better. Make sure to hydrate, because you can have a headache, and I've been there to where I cry and cry and cry and cry, and then my head is just killing me. So I have to drink a lot of water and go and have a good night's sleep. Otherwise, I would be in horrible headache. Horrible headache will happen to me. Anyways, I can't talk. I love you so much, and thank you for sticking around and watching 36 minutes of this video. Please put your family first and love yourself, and make sure that you take care of your body and take care of your spirit and take care of yourself spiritually, physically, mentally, and emotionally. Please. I love you. And there's a great girl, Mindy Morris. She's all about manifesting, and she says this: if nobody told you today, I love you. And just remember that I love you, and I also believe that dreams don't just come true, we make them real. You have to take action if you want to have a happy family. You have to take action if you want to see your people you love live a happy life. You have to take action. Sometimes you feel like I'm taking all the wrong actions, but at least you take actions and you make an effort, and the person can know by your actions that your intentions are pure and that you're doing things with love. Thank you for watching. Again, I love you. And if you want to support, please follow me on Patreon, patreon.com/AliceApril. And I will link everything else that I do. I love you, and I'll see you in the next vlog. Bye.